This video is not a response to people reaching out to me with theological questions through direct messages or comments. That rarely happens, and if it did, I would likely recommend that that person ask their pastor, refer them to a post from a qualified pastor, or simply not respond. This is also not in reaction to public scrutiny or pressure. Still, I want to confess that on occasion I have gotten some things theologically incorrect in my conversations with people in person and online, including in some videos that I have posted or will post within the next 4 weeks. Some of these errors I've already apologized for and corrected, and others you may see me apologize for and correct in videos coming soon. I'm making this video because I'm concerned about the potential dangers social media poses to Christians and the church. First and foremost, I want to make absolutely clear, I am not a pastor, and I am certainly not your pastor. All Christians should be plugged into a local, faithful church. Online influencers, podcasters, pastors with an online presence, and apologists you follow on platforms like YouTube or TikTok are not your pastors, and you should be extremely careful of who you listen to online. At this time, I have no intention of becoming a pastor, going to seminary, becoming a missionary, or serving as an apologist beyond the general sense described in 1 Peter 3 verse 15, being ready to give a reason for the hope that I have in Christ. I started this channel about 13 months ago to discuss political and social topics, beginning with abortion. And I want to make absolutely clear that you should be careful of listening to what any political commentators say about theological topics, as most political commentators and debaters are not theologically trained, including me. With that said, sometimes in my debates and conversations, differences in worldviews are brought up, since on occasion, examining each other's worldviews is the only way forward in examining what should be the case about a political or moral topic such as abortion. Something I need to be extremely careful of when advocating for the Christian worldview is not discussing aspects of it that I can't articulate well or don't fully understand. I'm still young and have a lot to learn about the Christian faith, so it is important that I avoid speaking on theological topics that I'm not well prepared to articulate, since this could result in unintentional heretical beliefs and confusion that harms the church and makes it difficult for unbelievers to know what Christianity actually is. I want to apologize for this, since I know in the past there have been occasions where I've spoken about theological topics that came up in conversations when the best thing I could have done would have been to ask whoever I was talking to ask a faithful pastor, research what Christianity teaches on the subject themselves, or read what historical Christian teaching has been on the topic. It's important to be willing to admit where my knowledge falls short, even if it means losing a debate. This is something I'm going to work to improve on. You may also notice that in upcoming videos, I may not always conduct debates that go as deep as the worldview level. One example of this is that I would be open to debating abortion with someone who affirms certain statements that I believe entail a pro-life from conception position, even if the person themselves is pro-choice. I believe that it wouldn't be sinful for me to take some moral statements that a pro-choicer and myself both affirm as true, and reason from those moral statements that a pro-life from conception position is required in order to be consistent. This would not require debating at the worldview level or bringing in religion to the debate. One benefit of these types of debates is that they don't require vast theological knowledge, and they allow for specific topics to be evaluated and discussed without making every conversation a question of whether God exists or not. This is not to say that I believe the non-Christian worldviews are defensible or possibly true. It is simply to say that I'm open to debating specific topics without bringing in religion when it may not be necessary to show my opponent's position is inconsistent with premises we both consider to be true. There will of course be some cases where it wouldn't be possible for me to debate a political or moral issue apart from examining worldviews. For instance, if there were no shared premises that me and my opponent could agree on, then the debate would have to be a debate over whose worldview is true. As a broad example, if someone was to deny that stealing is wrong, deny that intentionally deceiving someone for personal gain is wrong, and deny that damaging a child's body solely for one's personal pleasure is wrong, then any debate with them would likely have to be a debate over worldviews, since there may not be any shared premises that we agree on. I will be cautious of entering into such a debate over worldviews for the next couple of years, since I would want to avoid a situation where I'm asked a question in cross-examination about the Christian worldview that I am unsure of or cannot give an adequate defense of. This could harm the church, which is something I of course want to avoid. With that said, I'm going to be increasingly careful of the topics and people I engage in debates and conversations with in the future. I'm also going to be exceedingly careful of talking about theological topics that I'm unfamiliar with. You may also see me give warnings or advise caution in some future videos where I may talk about Christian topics so as not to give the false impression that I'm more knowledgeable than I really am.